Brace the rudder! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
Hello, and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We are so excited to bring you this show.
Our podcast is all about unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed games. Each episode, we'll be talking about a different topic in the Assassin's Creed universe. From Pieces of Eden, solar flares, and the Isu, to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus, we will seek to uncover it all.
So join us, and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You also know me as She-Cup, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, I'm Austin or Teacup, and we are back.
We are. It's a very exciting day. Welcome back.
Yes. We have back from our long break. If you are unaware or are listening for the first time, we are coming back after a little long hiatus because we had a baby. And
we did.
And so we took a break with that with our son, who is awesome and is about 2 months old as we're recording this, a little shy of. But
and if you were wondering, he does indeed have a cup name.
He does. He is Sippy Cup. If you were curious with that. But yeah, so we're back. And what a better way to celebrate us being back than to hit a new season, a new topic of something to talk about in Assassin's Creed. I know we kind of stopped middle of with the Assassin or Templar discussion. And if you really liked that, don't worry, because that is coming back. As we kind of do the episodes, we're going to start doing more of those as kind of one-off episodes where they come in like in the rotation, whereas we would normally do like a couple lore episodes, a patron chat, and then a character deep dive. We'll start sprinkling in these kind of assassin or templar episodes in with like character deep dives and other things like that. So that is not going away. It's just going to be more spread out.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, that could be, there are infinite episodes we could do almost on assassin or templar for sure.
So that's exciting, but we are exciting. I'm very excited for this new season because we are going to be talking about something that is exclusive to Assassin's Creed Shadows.
That's right. So why don't you just tell us what this new season is going to be about?
Yeah, so this season, we are going to go through basically, if you haven't played the game, during Assassin's Creed Shadows, as you explore the world, you unlock different circles or objective boards, which are basically different groups that you can hunt down. Think similarly like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, how each like cult member had a branch that branched off of them, or like in Valhalla, similar things. As you cut down the Order members, they had like different supporting things. It's kind of like that, where these are kind of side quests, but they all have kind of like this rich story behind them. They all have different, they're all really well done for the most part. There's a couple that I could take or leave, but we're going to go through each one of those and kind of just talk about them. Maybe you haven't you didn't really pay that much attention, or you didn't realize you could spare this person and things happened.
Or maybe you tried to spare them and then it just got too messed up and you failed. That happened to me.
Yes. But if you don't feel like going back and you still want to know what all these are, that's what these episodes are for. So today we are starting with one that you can get pretty early in the game, which is the Butterfly Collector. This is one of the first circles you can get. Did you do this?
I started this one. I didn't finish this one.
Oh. I have now done this one twice. So I believe that I couldn't find any documentation, but this one is required to unlock a certain skill, I think, with one of Naoe's weapons.
Which weapon?
The hook and chain one.
Oh, well, I never ever used that, so I probably didn't finish this one then.
Yeah, so what happens is you basically, in Contino, which is one of the early locations that you can go in the first area, you can find a woman who invites you to play a children's game. And basically what this children's game is that you run around and collect origami butterflies. And once you collect all 10, you win. So basically what happens is after this, Naoe and Yasuke will have to run around Osaka, which is one of the cities in Setsu, and collect various butterflies that are on trees in the city. This is one of the hardest circles to complete because even on guided mode, the butterflies do not have quest markers.
No, they don't. They're so hidden. And I think they're really hard to see too. And maybe that's just me and my bad eyesight, but I find that like unless I'm really looking for them, I don't notice them.
Yeah. It's not hard. Like none of the enemies are hard to fight, but it's just hard to progress because you've got to basically run around this district of the city and use your observe mechanic to try to see the little blue dots that track you to these quest moments. And as you continue to pull them, a darker plot will unfold. So, are you ready to dive into what happens, or do you have any thoughts you want to share?
No, let's dive right in.
All right. So the butterflies. There are 10 origami butterflies that either you have to find as Naoe or Yasuke.
And does it matter who finds them?
No.
Okay.
As far as I could tell, you can do this. There are some circles in some quests that are character restricted, but this one is one that you can do as both. I think most people do it as Naoe because it's unlockable in the first area.
Yeah, because it's so early.
Yes. So it also just makes sense for her character more than Yasuke.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of quests and storylines that are, okay, well, this makes more sense for this person. So.
Yes, I agree. So the first one you find is in the Fisherman District of Osaka. And Naoi just collects it and marks that it's well made. You find another one in the Temple of Osaka, and you find one near the gear vendor. Again, nothing really happening. Just seems like a children's game you want to play. And then you find one near a gear vendor. So on a tree opposite the Kojo ruins, we find a letter disguised as this origami butterfly. And this reads, Kacho, I will lure the sake merchant's child to the island west of Osaka and hold him there. His father is weak and will give us whatever we want. You will soon have control of the sake trade in Osaka. Mucho. And so they discover that children are being taken and held for ransom to merchants in Osaka and other important people of Osaka. So Naoi or Yasuke can then travel to this island where they encounter a boy and a woman in the ruins. You kill the woman and deliver the boy to his father, who says that you might find something in another merchant who might have sold this origami paper to these women. So then you can continue finding more on there. You find one by the stable with no message. You find one on a tree near a canal with a message. This says, Kacho, I secured the child without a problem. Her mother was told to bring the ransom to the burnt-out well just north of the Temple of Osaka. There was no one there but gardeners, so it's easy to watch. No payment yet. Richo. So then the pair travel to the burnt well, where they hear the pair of gardeners mention a bamboo grove. They head to the bamboo grove and find a cabin. It is there that they kill the woman, Richo, free the girl, and return her to her mother.
I'm pretty sure that is where it ended for me. I didn't do any more after this point.
Yeah. And then you will find 3 more butterflies with no more notes. So basically we've got this plot of this woman, Kacho, who is taking children and using other women to manipulate so that she can control the inner workings of Osaka. Do you have any thoughts on this so far?
I mean, it's really dark. I guess I just am waiting for the resolution of the story of like why she's capturing them, because like I said, I didn't play enough into this quest line to figure that out. Probably because they were so difficult to find, but yeah, I do remember like helping the children. And then I just got distracted by all the other things in the game.
Yeah, so there definitely, as you progress, like there is something of like ransom and like it's not really like human trafficking in the sense of like how we would understand human trafficking, but it's similar into that. And there, before we kind of go into our mid break for a moment, I'll just give a little like spoiler. There is this parental kind of thing going on, but we'll talk about that when we get to the end.
Yeah, but like you're right. It's not explicitly human trafficking like we know it as, but it's also just like a form of trafficking that's like very intertwined with mental illness, it feels like.
Yes.
So.
And we'll talk about
We'll talk
that
more later.
Yeah. But now would be a good time for the mid break.
All right.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
Introducing the perfect companion to your morning listening routine. AG1's clinically backed formula is now flavor-packed with 3 new delicious flavors: tropical, berry, and citrus. Start the day on a high note with probiotics that taste like the tropics. Mix it up with micronutrients that taste like berry or citrus. And take it all the way back with the classic AG1 Original with notes of pineapple and vanilla. Do your health a flavor, or 4, with AG1 Next Gen, the daily health drink. Learn more at drinkag1.com.
You look like the one thing in the world that Kiviatis wouldn't take to bed. Can you even see out of that thing?
Mock all you want. When those Malakas and Zakros see this beast charging towards them, they will know fear!
Let's start light. Tell me a joke.
Why must samurai always battle one another? Because there is only one way for a samurai to get ahead. Ahead. I did not say it was a good joke.
Makose! Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
So let's just get in to the mid-break. So this is where we talk about all the things that have to do with the lore cast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. And let me just say, this is where we always shout out some reviews. If you've left us a review, a comment, whatever. And I will say we have quite a few to go through. So if you've left us one while we've been on break, we're going to try to catch up. But it just may be a while. So you'll have to bear with us on that. But first, the first thing we do in the mid-break is to thank all of our amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting us, for continuing to support the show, because we truly couldn't do it without you. We did get a patron while we were on break, and their name is He Who Poops. I assume that's a man. But funny enough is you became a patron the day I gave birth, and we were in the hospital right before he was born, and saw that notification come through, and it was just funny timing. So thank you, He Who Poops. Welcome to the Patreon. We can't wait to meet you. And thank you to all of our other amazing patrons. We'll talk soon on our patron chat. Now, I do have a review to read today from Ben G. And this one is our Hugo Chavez episode. And Ben G says, only started listening to the podcast 2 weeks ago, and I'm already all caught up, which I'm happy and sad about, as there's no more for now. But I hope the new edition of your baby brings happiness and joy to your lives. And thank you for relighting my love for the AC lore and games. Thank you so much for leaving us that review. We're so glad that you've listened to the podcast. And the last thing that I have to shout out is our Discord server. We do have a Discord server dedicated to all of our shows and really just any video game that's out there. So if you are looking for a community to belong to on the internet that's around video games, we think it's a pretty good one. So definitely come join us and hang out.
Yeah. One more thing in the mid break I want to talk about that I forgot to put in the show notes is that while we were on break, we got some pretty big Assassin's Creed news. We got announced that a 2-year-old game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, is getting a DLC.
I forgot about that.
That will be free and paid for, or free and available to all players. It will be an expansion into a new land in Saudi Arabia. We're following Basim in that story in Assassin's Creed Mirage. I just wanted to, Shelby, do you have thoughts on this move by Ubisoft?
I mean, I think we talked about this, and our conclusion when we were chatting outside the show was like, Assassin's Creed Shadows must be doing really well for them if they've got the money to just release the free new DLC. It's very like anti-Ubisoft. Like, this is not anything I would expect from Ubisoft. Like, I know we call them buggy soft, but I've also heard grubby soft. Like, they're so money grubbing, they charge for everything. So it just is very out of character, I feel like, for the company.
Yeah, I think, because people were asking about this, just like, why would they do this and not like do more for Shadows, their flagship game? And I personally think, and this, you can put this down as Austin Teacup's theory, and it is just my theory, I have no evidence. I think that they wanted to see how some of their modern day stuff would land in Assassin's Creed Shadows. And then I think that they're bringing some stuff with Basim, because Basim's going to come into play in some modern day stuff.
I could definitely see that. I also feel like there's more coming with Shadows. Like, it just because they released something for Mirage doesn't mean, oh, we're never getting any more Shadows content ever again.
I think that Mirage's release wasn't as, like, it was good and it was a success, but it wasn't up there. And then they kind of had like flop after flop with Outlaws and then some other stuff that they kind of paused that, and they're like, okay, let's get a measure of the fandom with Shadows. And
Yeah, I know. I hear that. I also just think, and this is something we've talked about on the podcast a lot before, is like whatever game it was that was gonna follow Valhalla was never gonna be breaking the bank the way that Valhalla did, because Valhalla just like hit that perfect sweet spot that will never ever happen again, of like everybody was at home in lockdown when it came out. It hit this cultural moment with Vikings, and it was like a huge game which allowed people to just like get really into it while they were at home. And so there were just a lot of like cultural factors that all came together to make Valhalla this like super seller that it probably wouldn't have been if it was released a couple years before or after. And so I feel like any game that was going to follow that, which happened to be Mirage, even though it was connected to Valhalla, it was never going to do as well as Valhalla was, which I think is unfortunate, because in a lot of ways it's like Mirage went back to some of the older, more smaller, more tailored games of like, okay, we're going to be in one city and we're going to explore that city. And so it kind of is like, I worry that that Ubisoft has taken that as, oh, well, these games don't sell, which I don't agree with. But I think that it is tempting for any company to like want to recreate the success of like their biggest blockbuster game. But like we've discussed, it's just, I don't think they'll ever hit that again.
yeah, I don't disagree. And there are lots of reasons, as we discussed, for Valhalla's success, and success versus reception in the fandom, and those are two very different metrics.
And I think that's true. I think that's true for a lot of games. I don't necessarily think Mirage has as much of that. I think it's hard because like when a game first comes out, like usually people are pretty hyped about it, and then it takes a while for people to like really sit with it and decide like their feelings on it. I've seen a lot more criticism of Mirage as of late, not post this announcement, but just like people having different things to say, which I still think it's a great game. People who complain about it being small baffle my mind, because we complained about Valhalla being too big, and so they gave us a small game, and fandoms are never happy.
It's
so
not even that small.
I mean, I think that the storyline is pretty linear. Like, there's not a ton of like side quest content, and
I would put it in the same size as Brotherhood, Revelation, these kind of like shorter games.
Yeah, like it is a smaller game, but that doesn't mean that it's tiny, doesn't have any content or anything. But anyway, are we ready to get back into the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
No, you're right. Let's all just screw around while the world falls to pieces.
Hey, this isn't easy, you know.
Right, like we're all on vacation out here? Enough! Look, everyone's under a lot of pressure. But we're the only ones who can stop Abstergo, so we need to keep it together.
She's right. We need to be a hive mind, people.
Anybody up for some reconciliatory yoga? Anyone?
Very funny, guys.
You have my thanks.
Keep the sword, Ezio.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's a me, Mario!
Uncle Mario?
It's been too long, Nipote. Far too long.
Malaka! Malaka! Malaka!
So, we have really 4 more notes to deal with. 3, 4 more notes, kind of. And so, we find one outside the temple, and this note reads, Cacho, the child escaped, but she cannot have gone far. I am retracing my steps through the fisherman district. When I was observing her, I learned she loves horses. I will begin my search near the western stables. Forgive me this error. I will not fail again. Shucho. So as you can approach near the fisherman district and you go in here, you can find this woman, and the girl, basically a girl runs up to you and says that she's being kidnapped. You can reassure her and tell her to run secretly to her mother, and then you go and you kill Sucho. After all of the butterflies are found, and now I find this note. I know where Cacho's hideout is. She thinks us unable to think for ourselves, or she would have been more careful. Some of her butterflies escaped and now mark her garden for anyone who cares to look. She can never suspect that I know, or she will kill me.
And that's unsigned.
It is unsigned, yes. So basically the pair can then go find their way into Nishimaro garden, where they confront and kill Cacho. So in this thing, you basically learn that she is a childless woman who is kidnapping these children because she wants some kind of control, but then she raises them to do her bidding. So like all these women that you killed were people that this woman had kidnapped and raped as like a mother figure.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why she's doing that, to control and have this kind of power. But you also find out through this that the woman who hired you to do this, who got you to play the game in the beginning, was a member.
So does that mean that the person that got Naue, I assume Naue usually, to play the game originally is like this mastermind of like, she sees this assassin-y person, puts all of their hopes on her that Naue will be able to like root out this group and kill Cacho?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that is what happens. So then you can basically go and spare their life, choose to kill or spare them.
Cacho specifically, or all of them?
No. This time you have the choice to go to the woman who hired you, and you can choose to spare her or kill her.
So Cacho dies either way. Okay, good.
So if you spare her, she makes a new life for herself and asks you to rename her. And most of the time, there's a bunch of names that you basically mean different colored butterflies, or you can name her Miss Butterfly, which I think is the one I picked. So yeah, so that's the Butterfly Collector. One of the first little things, I think like this is going to be a recurring theme for me with all of these, is that tying these into the Shinbaku, tying these into the Templars would have made them hit so much more versus like just, oh, there's all these groups that are running around trying to control everything.
Yeah, no, I very much agree with that. And like I've said, the biggest issue I have with this game is that the Shinbaku aren't tied to the Templars at all.
They are.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like the individual members of the Shinbaku like are not, none of them are Templars. So like for me, because we know that like the Portuguese have been in Japan, like we know that they're there, so it makes sense that just like Naue's mom was recruiting assassins, that they would have been recruiting Templars. So to me, it's not that like out of character for just a random person to have connections to or to be part of the Templars. So I do really agree with you there.
Yeah. But I mean, I think this mission and this thing is very Assassin's Creed to me. Like, this is the kind of missions that you typically expect to find in.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think I like this story, and I think it's, an interesting thing to wrestle with, because, like, it's not really the person that hired you to do this. Like, it's not really her fault. She can't control anything. She can't control that she was a victim and then became a victimizer. You know what I mean? Like, she did what she thought she could to get out of this situation, which is to hire Naoe Yasuke. It's not like, you have a choice. Okay, well, are we going to kill or spare Kacho? Like, okay, she's clearly the villain, even though she too. I mean, it's not like she's just doing this to be sadistic. She's doing this because she's mentally ill.
Yeah, very much so. It's that kind of layered kind of morality that we like Assassin's Creed for.
Well, and I mean, I think that it makes a good video game choice because it's not just black and white. Like, I can see an argument for either way of, like, killing the person that hires you or sparing her. I don't necessarily think, okay, well, this is clearly the right choice. I think you can make an argument for both sides.
And I think there's a point of, like, there is a thing of, like, begs the question of, like, can the cycle of violence be broken?
Yeah.
I tend to land on the side of yes, it can be broken. But I mean, it is an argument for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, time and time again, it is proven that the cycle of violence and abuse isn't broken, especially if the person doesn't want it to be. Like, you have to work to avoid that. And I mean, I think clearly this character who hires you, she did, because she saw, okay, maybe this is a person that can help me. And no, she's not going to spill every detail of what it is that, plaguing her to a stranger, but she started things and masterminded things to help in the way that she could.
Yes, I very much agree. I'm probably, if we're gonna, I guess we can rate these. I'd probably give this 4 out of 5 Hidden Blades.
4 out of 5 Hidden Blades. That needs to be our new scale for everything. I think I would agree with that. Maybe 3.75.
You're always wanting to do fractional ratings.
I'm sorry. No, it's hard when you only have 5 points. It's hard to, like, narrow it down. Because I feel like 3 is medium, and then I feel like 4 is pretty good, and then 5 is, like, really good. But I find myself wanting another measurement in there. But
so, like, what is it? Let's think of an example of a 5 in what we would give a 5 to as a mission in Assassin's Creed.
Okay, a 5 mission is the mission with Ezio dressing up and pretending to be a little bard guy. That's a 5 for me. That's easily a 5. Also a 5 is, this is both Ezio examples, is when he has to fly Leonardo's little invention. That's a 5. That's a 5.
You're triggering. Shoot the fire demon!
Well, what's a 1 to you?
A 1, the canoeing mission in Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Oh, yeah.
Also, probably
anytime I have to drive a chariot or a cart.
Anytime I have to tail someone.
Yeah, that's fair. But, like, those are also not, like, story missions. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We're kind of off topic here.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, good. Somewhere between a 3.75 and a 4 is where we're landing. But yeah, any last closing thoughts?
One thing I will say is I appreciate, in this game especially, there's a lot of this. I do appreciate, like, women's stories being involved, and I think it's hard to work, fertility and having children and that kind of stuff into a video game because, typically we don't think of moms as gamers, which is not true. So I do appreciate that lens working its way into this game. And I think that Shadows does a good job of having, there's a lot of women in the game. But yeah.
I also, with like shadows in regard to like women, I always feel like it's a kind of misrepresentation of the actual time to just say that women in this era only stayed in the home and had no power. Like, generally, yes, that was the rule, but they exerted control and power in the circles that they could.
Right. Well, I have so many thoughts about this. Is number one, like, the idea, and it's very common today, the idea that, oh, every woman before like the 60s was a stay-at-home mom and like that's all she did, is not true, because for time immemorial, women have had to work, especially women who are not wealthy. Now, that work may have looked like, doing somebody's laundry and selling it, or like doing childcare for a wealthy woman, or, those kinds of things that nowadays we don't think of as valuable work. Those were the kinds of things that women did throughout history, but that doesn't mean they didn't work. The other thing is that, like, in American history, at least, there's this thing called Republican motherhood, which in the 1700s, when the country was forming, was all about the way that you be an American woman is that you raise your children and you have a family and you teach them American ideals and teach them to be good American citizens. And that's how you have influence and power in America and in the world, which in a way I don't necessarily disagree with. So this idea that like, oh, well, women have never had any power whatsoever is just not true. I mean, you also have to think about, I think it's John Adams' wife writing the letter that's like, hey, don't forget about the women.
Yes, I think it is.
So it's like, it's not true that women have never had any power. It is true that women in official roles of power, yeah, that is less common. But still, there are still examples from throughout history. I mean, look at Queen Elizabeth I.
I mean, look at Joan of Arc, who is a pivotal character in this series.
Yeah, exactly.
But just in following that with that, like, that's the way with Shadows focuses women into the story in a way that is believable.
Yeah.
And like, even to the point of like the way Naoe dresses, like from a distance, she could be mistaken for
a man
or a boy.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, and it could be, so she wouldn't draw a lot of attention to her as like, oh, she's a woman fighting.
Right. And that makes total sense. And I think that this game has done a really good job of being in the historical setting, being historically accurate, but also taking liberties where and when they can.
Yeah, very much.
A great balance, which I know everybody was nervous about, but I really think they've done it well.
They did really, really good. So yeah, that's all I have. So I think we're ready to wrap up.
All right. Well, once again, as always, thank you for doing the research. It's been great to be back in the show. So thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at AC Lorecast.
If you have any lore questions or topics to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. Find us on patreon.com/Assassin's Creed Lorecast. The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode's description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, make sure you give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And always remember, Assassins, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance redefined.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.